Hello, my name is Kay Hill, and I want to thank you for watching my defense presentation entitled A Descriptive Single Case Study of the Female Field Regional Manager Experience in Automotive Aftermarket Retail. The items I will review today include the problem, purpose, literature review, research question, framework and methodology, findings, implications and recommendations, and a distribution plan. To provide some context, when I began the EDD program at Baylor, I had spent the prior 18 years working in an automotive aftermarket retailer at a male-dominated company. The company was continuing to focus on developing women for the field regional manager position, which is a director-level role that oversees 90 to 120 stores. The position has a staff of 10 district managers, a human resources manager, and an administrative assistant. A loss prevention manager and outside sales force also work alongside the regional manager. As a human resources professional working in the organization, I was aware of the company's focus on developing women for the regional manager position for the last 8 years. After that focus, only 4 of 60 plus regional managers were female. Research supports that companies with women in leadership roles perform better financially and retain more women. The purpose of this descriptive single case study was to examine how the experiences of female field regional managers shape their perceptions of the social system in a Fortune 300 national male-dominated automotive aftermarket retailer. I wanted to understand the experiences of these women. In reviewing the literature, I found that Bandura's social cognitive theory had been used to study a variety of subjects, including employee experiences. I believe the components of social cognitive theory were pertinent to the study. Environmental factors were important because the company I studied had a strong culture based on the military. I worked within that culture for many years and knew firsthand that new employees learned what was expected of them through adapting a customer service focus. Employee resource groups are significant because the company started a women's ERG about the time the initiative to develop more women for the regional manager role was enacted. Psychological safety for women in a male-dominated company is a factor. Stereotyping and bias remain prevalent. The literature revealed women allow different voices to be heard, work collaboratively, and adopt more transformational behaviors than men. Business has an affinity for extroversion, often displayed by men. Organizations can avoid women not experiencing psychological safety by normalizing women in leadership. The literature discussed developing women through mentoring and role modeling as an option for examining behavioral factors exhibited by employee actions. One negative I uncovered was that female mid-level managers developed concerns about work-life balance and working long hours when they were exposed to women in higher leadership positions. Women's voices impact teams in the Marine Corps positively when working with complex problems. Teams with a token female outperformed all male teams in the study. Finally, I looked for information about women in the automotive fields and did not find anything specific to retail automotive aftermarket. I did find information about how women were treated in dealerships and white-collar automotive positions. Unconscious bias, barriers to upward mobility, isolation, and a need to create policies around flexibility were prevalent. Information on other male-dominated industries included oil and gas and construction. I used a descriptive single case study because I wanted to have conversation with these women. Cresswell and Poth recommended using a descriptive case study to explore a bounded and in-depth situation, and Yin suggests using a case study to examine a specific group. To create validity, several weeks after the interviews, I asked each participant to complete a 3-question reflective journal based on the theoretical framework. I requested a resume or work history to determine the path each person took to get to the RM position. I was curious how similar the paths were. There were 4 participants, each living in a different state. The time and position ranged from 23 months to 34 years. There were 2 white women, 1 African American, and 1 Hispanic woman. The research question was, how do female regional managers in the business environment of a male-dominated vehicle aftermarket retailer describe their experiences in terms of personal, behavior, and environmental factors? I used Bandura's social cognitive theory as the framework for the study. The model says people learn socially through observation, not just intellectually. Bandura's model is an interpersonal level theory that emphasizes the dynamic interaction between people. It is an adaptive, triadic, causation reciprocal model, meaning employee development is not linear and moves between the components of the environment, behavior, and personal factors in the framework. There is an interaction between the external, social, and internal, cognitive aspects of the individual. The framework has been used in education studies, various health studies, studies concerning the media, and management and employment situations. I used the framework by narrowing the components to the organizational culture, employee actions, and psychological safety. For the findings, I initially coded the data gathered during the interviews using the theoretical framework codes of environmental, behavioral, and personal. The emerging themes, organizational culture, employee action, and psychological safety, fit in with the categories of questions developed for the semi-structured interview and reflective journal. The participants found the various mentors valuable in preparing for their positions and believed a strong company culture supported them. Each participant commented about travel and time away from home and struggled with work-life balance, particularly making time to take care of themselves, family, and friends. There were also comments about mentors and supervisors checking in to be supportive of the new regional managers on a regular basis. Each regional manager took action by identifying her own deficiencies and worked toward diminishing them through specific classes and experiential activities. Examples include legal courses, Dale Carnegie courses, taking opportunities to participate in public speaking, developing Microsoft Office skills through online courses, and then practicing those skills by completing the regional business review documents. Comments about performing well, fear of job loss, not being given a chance to succeed, failure to improve sales, fear of unfavorable feedback, and fear of not being understood, plus an experience of microaggression reflected the theme of psychological safety. The participants' career paths were similar but not identical. All advanced through the organization, and 2 started in loss prevention before moving to the operations side of the business. One participant cited a prior employee's leadership program as a significant part of her success. While only women were included in this study, I determined the recommendations can benefit both male and female regional managers. First, continue the mentorship model. Tweak it by offering the newly promoted regional manager a mentor who has been in the role for less than 2 years, so the experience is fresh on their mind and they can more easily advise another new regional manager of any pitfalls to avoid and realistic expectations. Participants expressed a need for a comprehensive, structured program to avoid missing information. For example, a Midwesterner may not know how to manage a hurricane threat if she is placed in a Florida market. Or if a trainee does not have the opportunity to work with the real estate department in determining new store sites, she will have to learn on the job when asked about adding stores to her market. Work with the training department to develop this program. Next, employees with families often find relocation difficult and remove themselves from promotional opportunities. The relocation requirement can be revised to expand the candidate pool. Currently, 2 relocations are required to train and then promote to the regional manager position. The first relocation is to the corporate office to understand the inner workings of the building and develop relationships. However, travel requirements have those training for the regional manager position away from home Tuesday through Thursday each week. A better option is to dedicate 1 week per month to work at the corporate office. The second relocation is to take the promotion. Next, assign new regional managers an established market with a full staff to set them up for success, even if this means moving an existing regional manager to a troubled market. Placing a new regional manager in a market that is not cohesive or at least staffed sets them up for failure when starting a new position. Providing a stable market for a new regional manager is best for the regional manager and the company in the long run. Finally, if there are no internal female regional manager candidates, consider external recruiting from competitors or other retailers to find the needed skill set in female regional managers. There are several ways to distribute the information from this study. First, the Society of Human Resource Management has a monthly magazine in which the information could be published. There are also peer-reviewed journals around human resources, one Human Resource Management and another Human Resource Development Review. Secondly, there are state and national conferences through the Society of Human Resource Management where the information could be presented and disseminated. The training and development publications available, ATD with the Association of Talent and Development. Training and development is part of the American Society for T&D. And then there's training and development conferences, including ATD. Finally, the director of field HR at the participating organization was the liaison for me to complete the study. And if I'm not able to present the information myself to the leadership in the organization, she can certainly do that. She has connections with the HR department, the training department, and the operations department, which she supports. So there's many options to provide this information and get it out into the world. I want to thank you all for watching my defense presentation, and here are the references I've used.